The reports started as neighborhood rumors. A parked car that appeared at midnight, always in a different driveway, always identical, and always gone by dawn. But as the sightings multiplied, police realized the pattern wasn't random. Every appearance coincided with a missing persons case from years prior. And when one resident found their own vehicle replaced with the missing one of a stranger, the investigation took a turn no one anticipated. Join us as we dive deep into the haunting, true story. It all began in the quiet, tree-lined streets of Brookline Heights, a suburban enclave known more for its pristine lawns and community bake sales than for anything remotely sinister. The first whispers were easy to dismiss: an overactive imagination, a trick of the late-night shadows. A resident on Elm Street, returning home from a late shift, noticed a dark sedan parked in their neighbor's driveway. It was a model they didn't recognize, sleek and nondescript, its black paint absorbing the faint glow of the streetlights. They thought little of it, assuming their neighbors had visitors. But the next morning, the car was gone, and the neighbors swore no one had been over. Within a week, a similar story emerged from a few blocks over on Maple Avenue. A different homeowner, woken by their dog's low growl, peered out the window to see an identical black sedan in their own driveway. It sat perfectly aligned with the paving stones, as if it had been placed there with meticulous care. Knowing their own car was safely in the garage, they were puzzled. They made a mental note to ask about it in the morning. But by sunrise, the strange vehicle had vanished, leaving not a single trace of its presence. These isolated incidents were initially chalked up to local gossip, the kind of strange but ultimately harmless tales that circulate in any tight-knit community. People spoke of it in hushed tones at the local coffee shop, speculating about pranksters or perhaps a clandestine affair. The stories were intriguing but lacked any real substance to cause alarm. The car was never there long enough for anyone to get a good look, and it never seemed to cause any harm. It was simply there, and then it wasn't. The phenomenon, however, refused to fade into local lore. The sightings became more frequent, more consistent. The description was always the same: a modern but unidentifiable black sedan, with no license plate and heavily tinted windows that revealed nothing of the interior. It always appeared precisely at midnight, a fact confirmed by several residents who, driven by curiosity, had started watching their clocks. And without fail, it would be gone by dawn, leaving behind an unnerving sense of normalcy, as if it had never existed at all. What began to truly unsettle the residents of Brookline Heights were the secondary details that emerged with each new sighting. Homeowners who checked their driveways after the car's departure found the ground completely undisturbed. There were no tire marks on the asphalt, no crushed leaves on the lawn, no footprints in the soft earth of the adjacent flower beds. It was as if the several thousand-pound vehicle had been lowered into place from above and then lifted away with impossible precision, defying the basic laws of physics. The mystery deepened with the technological anomalies. As more people became aware of the midnight car, as it was now being called, they turned to their home security systems for answers. Yet, the results only added another layer of impossibility to the puzzle. Every single time the car was due to appear, security cameras would inexplicably glitch. Footage would freeze, skip, or dissolve into a screen of digital static at precisely 11:59 p.m., only to resume normal function a few minutes past midnight, revealing the car already sitting motionless in the frame. The arrival itself was never captured, not by a single camera in the entire neighborhood. The situation escalated from a local curiosity to a police emergency on a crisp October morning. A man on Crestview Drive awoke to find his own SUV missing from his driveway. In its place sat the familiar, ominous black sedan. Panicked, he called 911. When officers arrived, they ran the vehicle identification number of the sedan, a number that had been impossible for anyone to get close enough to see before. The search returned a shocking result. The car belonged to a man who had been reported missing 5 years earlier from a town nearly 100 miles away. The man's case had long gone cold, with his vehicle presumed to be at the bottom of a lake or dismantled in a chop shop. Yet here it was, in pristine condition, swapped for a local's family vehicle in the dead of night. This single event transformed the investigation. The Brookline Heights Police Department, initially dismissive of the scattered reports, now treated the midnight car as a priority 1 case. The missing SUV was found 2 days later, abandoned but unharmed, on a quiet street in an adjacent town. But the discovery of the missing person's car cracked the case wide open, suggesting a sinister connection that no one had dared to consider. Investigators began a meticulous process of tracking every reported sighting of the identical cars, expanding their search beyond Brookline Heights. They soon discovered an unnerving pattern. The black sedan wasn't confined to one neighborhood. Reports had been trickling in from 4 nearby communities, each describing the same vehicle, the same midnight appearances, and the same impossible lack of evidence. When detectives cross-referenced the dates and locations of these sightings with a national database of unresolved disappearances, a chilling correlation emerged. Each appearance of the mysterious car coincided with the anniversary of a different missing persons case, often to the exact day. The vehicle that had appeared on Elm Street corresponded with the disappearance of a college student 3 years prior. The one on Maple Avenue marked the 2-year anniversary of a businessman who vanished on his way home from work. The car found on Crestview Drive was just the first tangible link, a piece of a much larger, more terrifying puzzle. The midnight car was not just a random anomaly. It was a moving memorial, a ghostly marker tied to the fates of the lost. This documentary explores the strange and disturbing case of the midnight car swap. We will delve into the collected evidence, from the first-hand accounts of bewildered residents to the official police reports that struggled to make sense of the events. We will analyze the persistent security footage anomalies, bringing in digital forensics experts to explain why state-of-the-art cameras failed, time and time again, to capture the car's arrival or departure. The glitches were too consistent, too perfect, to be mere malfunctions. Most compellingly, we will examine the testimony of the lone eyewitness who claims to have seen someone inside the car. An elderly woman, suffering from insomnia, had been staring out her window one night when the car materialized in her neighbor's driveway. Unlike the glitched cameras, her eyes saw it all. She described it not as driving in, but as fading into view, like a photograph developing in real time. And through the deeply tinted windshield, she saw a figure. It was sitting perfectly still in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead, motionless. She said the stillness was the most terrifying part. Not a twitch, not a breath, just an absolute, unnerving void of movement, as if the person inside were a statue or something not quite human. Her story, initially dismissed as the fanciful tale of a tired mind, would later become the cornerstone of the investigation's most unsettling theories. What is the midnight car? Is it a technologically advanced prank of unimaginable complexity, a ghostly apparition tied to unsolved tragedies, or something else entirely? Join us as we piece together the fragments of this inexplicable mystery. The truth, like the car itself, may appear when you least expect it, only to vanish without a trace. The evidence is waiting. The stories are real, and the questions remain unanswered. What did you see that night? If you have any information about this case or similar unexplained phenomena, please contact the number on your screen. Your call could be the key to finally understanding the vehicle that appears and vanishes without tracks. Some scenes have been dramatized for storytelling clarity, but the facts are based on real investigative methods and publicly available reports. Everyone mentioned is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Viewer discretion is advised, as this video contains details that may be disturbing to some audiences. All visuals and audio elements are used under fair use for commentary and analysis. This story is shared to inform, not to sensationalize. Kindly subscribe to Mystery Arena for more intriguing stories. Here, truth isn't hidden, it's uncovered. See you in the next story.